Do you think it's more of the youth with these guys? Riley Green, he's 20. He'll be 25 this year, so he's pretty young. He's not in that prime, so to speak, category yet. Because what's prime? 26 to 32, kind of, sorta. What do you think?
Prime is 20. Prime is 26.
Okay.
Prime is 26. 25. He's 25. He's in the prime. 30, because it's 25. 30, you're down in.
Okay.
25 to 30. These are the prime years. He's been in the league long enough. This is probably who he is. This is probably who he is with baseball. You know what I mean? It's who you are. He's just going to have to put a whole bunch of streaks, because he's streaky, together. They're going to have to hit timely. Because if your numbers are like this, you better have timely hits. And that's, I think, what's kept him afloat. Torque doubles, he hits a home run. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of kept him from losing.
Sure.
That's why their record's what it is. They've been on time, Carpenter, but they need another bat. They need another bat because, again, nobody's afraid of them.
Right.
They're going to throw, and they're going to try. Like, they know what Torque's weak. They know what Riley's weak. They know what Torres is. They know that people figure them out like they figure people out. So they're going to need somebody to help Torque if he keeps this up. I got Torque hitting. I got him over this year. I got him 260. I think he'll hit 260, and I think he'll hit about 17, 18 home runs. It'll be a blessing to the Tigers if he hits 25. I think he'll hit 20. And I'll rephrase it. I think he'll hit 20. But the strikeouts are going to come. That's going to happen. He's I think he's not quite Rob Deere because he's got a better swing. And he can hit for base hits. He's going to be, he's the guy that's going to be the key to them with their power, because they don't have, he's got to have the power.
Sure.
He's got to. There's no other way around it. Him and Carpenter got to hit a home runs. They got to hit at least 20 apiece. And I think they both can do that, but the strikeouts are going to be there. Even, like you said, everybody's in double-digit strikeouts.
Yeah.
And I don't think they've seen elite, superior pitching thus far. Well,
we were talking about the away records, and I was looking at this thinking the Tigers being under 500 away. Mm-hmm. Of course, they dropped 3 to right off the start to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But when I look at the away records, there's nobody,
Nope.
Not in the American League.
No.
The two teams that have the best, believe it or not, the best team with the away record is 7-3, and that's the Athletics. Mm-hmm. They're 2-7 at home, and that's a minor league park they're playing in.
They're playing in the minor. I'm literally, I don't know one player on that team, and shame on me.
Right.
That's how interested I am in the Athletics. Once a storied franchise, where is this going? Like Chicago, okay, whatever. But the Athletics were, you know what I mean? They were World Series, in the World Series. They drew, big names. Like, what is going on? And it's constantly year after year after year. But, yeah, they, that'll believe me, that'll change shortly. That'll change shortly. But they always play the Tigers hard when they come.
I got a question for you,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe you can, with your baseball knowledge, you can enlighten me. I was shocked that they went and brought up Montero for that last game against the Brewers, because if I'm not mistaken, they did the regular Scooble Flaherty. Mm-hmm. I thought Reese was the third pitcher. He pitched last night. Again, why would they? I mean, you still have Mize and Job. After that, do you think they brought him up to kind of, with this being a long homestand, maybe to give some guys extra time?
That's exactly it.
That's what you think so?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Hitch is a thinker. You know what I mean? He knows what.
And Montero actually didn't pitch bad.
Yeah.
You know.
And you can still throw things off the dartboard.
Sure.
For right now. It's still early. It's getting a little later, but it's still early. You know, so you can still, So, that's exactly what it is. You got the stand coming. You know, you're going to need everybody on board. And like I said, this stand is the one for me. Like, this is this, like they lost the Brewer series. They need to sweep Kansas City. Take advantage of all of these teams that are like this.
Well, that game is tonight at 6:40 at Comerica Park.
They won the first one, right?
And they won the first one 6-1.
Yep, see?
It's kind of been the Tigers' MO, so to speak, in this so far in a short season. Other than with the Dodgers and the Brewers, they've always kind of taken the first two games and dropped the last one.
Yeah. They did that with the Yankees. They did that. That's kind of their MO.
So with the Tigers going with this long homestand now, they have 4 against the Royals.
Yep.
You think bringing up Montero gives them a shot to pitch Scooble probably in that Baltimore series, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Or against the Padres.
Oh yeah. Listen. Yes. Yep. I like that move.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a good move.
I mean, and Montero has shown flashes.
Yeah. Yep. Mize has shown flash.
Yes.
And I'm still the jury's still out on Job.
You think so?
I think so. He's young.
I mean, his stuff has been pretty filthy.
No, he's dirty. He is dirty.
Right.
But he's young. That's the thing. He's young, but he is nasty. I mean, filthy. But I'm still. You got to wait and see with the young kids. You know what I mean?
Sure.
These aren't the young kids of old. You know. But he has good stuff. The Tigers, the pitchers, they have good stuff. You know, a lot of them, they have good stuff. But yeah, I'm still going to wait and see. You know, in some of these pressure packed, moments and situations and things like that. And then you need your bullpen obviously to hold up. But yeah, he's Hinch is he knows what he's doing. Like he's a thinking man's manager. The players love him. He knows what he's doing. So yeah, that's a good move. Yep. Stretch those arms, man. Stretch them, save them.
So we were talking about Riley, a lot of these guys being young. So I wanted to compare them a little bit to some good Tigers of old. Okay. Alan Trammell.
Uh-oh.
Now, here's a guy who came up in 77. But I'm not going to say he's, none of these guys are going to be all-stars like Alan Trammell, but hitting-wise.
And we're talking Bob Costas, baseball guru.
Right.
And Trammell's top 10 shortstop of all time.
Absolutely. But his first couple of full seasons in Detroit, he batted .268, .276.
That's hard.
Yeah. It's hard to,
That's Trammell.
Yeah. But looking at some of these numbers, though, Trammell really wasn't a home run hitter till
never.
He got, I think the most home runs he ever had is in 87. And if I'm not mistaken, that might have been the year he won the batting title. 343. He batted 343.
He had was it 30-something? He went nuts that year.
28 home runs, 205 hits.
Yeah.
But,
but that's
you kind of have to, I kind of compare these Tigers a little bit.
Don't do it.
I'm not saying that they're going to be on the same trajectory, but I'm just trying to compare them to their first few seasons in the league compared to Trammell, Whitaker, Parrish, those kind of guys.
Okay.
120 hits, his first full season. Trammell played in 139 games, 127 hits. Strikeouts. Trammell didn't strike out much.
No, he did not.
56 in his first year, 55 in his second year, 63. So he always kind of hung around the 45 to 60 range per year.
If you're striking out at the rate these guys are, your bat is slow,
But why is it though?
or you're being fooled. You just don't know what's coming.
But why do you see a lot of home run hitters with a ton of strikeouts?
Because they swing long. Swing long.
Okay.
It's not right to the. They're not swinging for hits.
Sure.
They're swinging to hit the ball out of the yard. The swing is a little more open. It's not as compact as a Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn didn't hit a lot of home runs, but guess what? Closest thing to 400 we'll ever see again. Right. It's to the point. It's right to the point. It's to the zone. It's not loopy. It's not long. You know, like I like Bellinger. We picked up Bellinger, but his swing is it's a loop to it. You know what I mean? It's kind of a home run.
Looking at other players, Lou Whitaker. Lou, kind of in the same boat with Trammell.
Yep.
Around the same kind of batting average first couple of seasons, around the same amount of hits first couple of seasons. When you look at like a guy like Riley Green, who's already made an all-star team, I couldn't tell.
And that's kind of, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think you have to have one player.
So you think it's more of the
Not
token, you got to come?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you look at Riley Green's stats last year, they're kind of, his second year is kind of comparable, other than the strikeouts. It's kind of comparable to Alan Trammell. He batted 262 last year. In his second I would say that'd be more of his first season. He played over 100 games because the first couple of years he was hurt. But when you really look at these kind of stats, you like to try to see with this homegrown talent that the Tigers have, because the Tigers have the #1 farm system now.
So what are you trying to give him? You're trying to give him a 6-year window, or?
Well, I guess I would, I really want to see, because when you think about it, these Tiger, like Riley Green, he's pretty much, if you really want to think about it, he's pretty much the first homegrown outfielder that we've had come up through the system that's, played pretty well. Since what? Bobby Higginson?
See, Bobby Higgy. And see, people always think, the great years that the Tigers had, you guys had a lot of free agents.
Yes.
You bought players. People always say, the Yankees. When Jeter and them was winning, they had Scott Brosius, Bernie Williams. The only big star they had was O'Neal. They didn't have a lot of stars. People always, now back in the day, they went and grabbed Winfield. The biggest star they had, Cano was even homegrown. The biggest star they had was A-Rod when they brought him in 04, 05. One of the biggest in that. But that 5-year run with Jeter, they didn't have a lot of, they didn't have no big name mega stars. They did not. The Tigers have been known, also to, Ordonez. They grabbed probably the second best or first best catcher ever to play.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think the first. I think I like him over Bench, but yeah. So I thought, with that being said, I thought they would to try to grab me at least one, J.D. Martinez. I thought he was going to come back. They had talked about, but
I agree with you. I think they definitely need a power hitter in that lineup, other than Torque and Carpenter.
Yeah. And the good thing, Torque switches, so he can keep him in the lineup. You don't have to sit him and let him keep trying to do his momentum thing. But the difference between, like I said, those guys, they got consistent. They didn't continue. Like, that's a lot of strikeouts. Like I said, either your bat is very, very slow, something that you're not picking the ball up from here. You can't be. You're striking out too much. You got to pick the ball up from here. When the pitchers, you should be ready. Your timing should be that ball. You should see that ball here, how he's holding it. That's why it's hard. It's the hardest thing to do in the world in sports. You got to pick the ball up from here, see how he's holding it, what kind of seams, where's the seams at, all that stuff, how he drops it, how he comes over it. You got to pick it up, and you got to watch it all the way through, right to your bat, to the ball, all the way through. So something with that, like I said, if confidence, slow bat, or he's not seeing. Hitting is seeing. I don't know if your hips aren't right. Everything should be one boom. And they're not doing that. They're not doing it. You got to pick the ball up out of the pitcher's hand. You have to, in order to hit it.